fall camp.
Yep.
What's just been your overall theme of your impressions so far?
Well, it's going well. Physicality, working on that, working on trying to develop some depth with the younger guys, with the second group, and some of the third group guys. One of the big goals in camp is to hopefully try to get 8-9 starters out of it. That's because you're going to need more than 5 guys. So that's our goal, and we feel that right now we've got 8-9 guys that we feel we can go and play in Pac-12 football. So we just keep developing them. They're just as important as the guys in the front, as Hansen, as Lemieux, as Throckmorton, and Aiello, Warmack. They're just Sewell. They're just as important as them. So that's what we're doing. We're focusing on trying to get them up to that same level. So there's no drop off if they have to go in and play at some point in time.
Having a group of all 5 guys coming back, people
Yes,
don't necessarily think position battles, but it seems like Warmack and Aiello are
Yeah,
duking it out.
Everybody, neither of those, both those guys are starters now. Yeah. Whoever thinks they're not, they're fools. Both those guys are starting any Pac-12 school there. We actually feel that we've got 7 or 8 of them that can right now start at any of the other Pac-12 schools as well. So, but that's how we look at it, and they're rotating on a daily basis, as you can see. And they're just, all battling up. They all know they're competing against a room. That's the one thing. A lot of times people think, like Coach Cristobal says, it's an organizational depth chart, right? It's not a depth chart, it's an organizational deal. And our job is to get the best 5 guys on the field. And if one guy goes down, who are the next best 5? It's not who's the third head behind the right tackles. It's who's the next best guy. So we're trying to move them around and stuff like that to develop that versatility and flexibility.
When it comes to the fall scrimmage, do you expect more about an forming experience rather than an inexperienced? Or?
Yeah, to me, experience is overrated, in my opinion. Experience has nothing to do with preparation. You still got to prepare, whether you're a guy who started 38 games like some of these guys have, or a guy who's only started 13 or 5, whatever it is, right? Experiences doesn't do anything. Experience is what's happened in the past. It's what you do now and what you do going forward. So it's just about continue to prepare, and we expect the same thing out of a guy like Throckmorton as we do as a guy of Sala or of Randazzo tomorrow. Go out and execute and get better. We coach them as hard as we coach the guys that are just got here, as Jonathan Anua. So that might sound like coach talk, but it's the way we do it here.
I was going to speak to the approach of the offseason of it's one thing for younger guys or like Sala came in pretty big, but for your 5th-year seniors to all pretty much universally be losing weight and changing their body composition at this point in their careers. Yeah. What kind of was the approach to make that a point of emphasis for everybody?
It's a tremendous tribute to the strength and conditioning program, and it's getting rid of some of those body fat percentages and getting rid of some of those pounds and turning it around. And if you look at the NFL, everybody says 330 pounds, 340 pounds. There are not a lot of 330, 340 pound offensive tackles anymore in the NFL. NFL's gone the other way, and you see a lot of these guys in the NFL as they get older, they try to lose more weight to get longevity and build a better life after football. So, but that's a tremendous tribute to Coach Feld and stuff like that. And these guys, they continue to challenge themselves, not just be trying to get faster, get a little quicker, and stuff like that. So that's why you see their bodies change. They might be losing some weight, but they've gained power, they've gained strength, they've gained explosion. Again, that's a tribute to Coach Feld and his staff in there.
Sewell was great for you guys last year, especially at such a young age. What's his next step forward?
Well, he was a guy who played above his years, and next is to be just dominant. That's the next step for him, is to become a dominant player, play in and play out. That's the thing, the consistency of it, the durability of it. So he has a higher level of expectation for himself now that he's done it for a year. That he's the one who's continuing to push himself and to get better. He's a guy that's gone from 358 pounds, whatever he was when he got here, to now a lot less than that. And he's moving a lot better. He feels, and he could tell he's very, very hard on himself. Very, very hard on himself when he messes something up in practice or technique-wise, hand placement, hat placement, stuff like that. So it's a guy that he wants to be the best. He wants to be the best that he can be right now.
Ideally, how much in like a conference game would you? You mentioned having 8-9 guys, so you can bring them in. Yeah. How much would you want to bring some guys in for a Throckmorton or a Hansen?
They have to earn that time now. If you're going to pull as a coach, if you're going to pull a guy like a Throckmorton and put somebody else in, he's got to earn that time now. When I say we have 8-9 starters, I would say I'm saying this. I'm telling you right now, you could take a lot of the guys on our second line. I bet you could take 3 or 4 guys on our second line, and every other O-line coach in the Pac-12 would want that person. So that's what I mean by that. I'm not saying we're going to rotate Throckmorton unless that guy's equal. I'm not saying we're going to rotate Hansen unless that guy's equal. We're not saying that. But what we are saying is if something happens to them, there's not going to be a significant drop-off. I mean, you go watch the film. There's a lot of Pac-12 schools that could use 3 or 4 of those guys in that second line. And we just got to try to keep pushing them and developing them because they help push those starters. So that's what I mean by that, you know.
Who are those 3 guys?
Well, you've got Malasala, you've got Stephen Jones, you've got Alex Forsythe, you've got a guy like, to me, Aiello and Warmack, they're starters. So we've got 6 starters up front, right? And then, I mean, Stephen Jones, man, people sleeping on him now. Stephen Jones is a heck of a football player. He's got a tremendous future, and the future is going to come whenever he finally just goes and takes it, you know. But he's a tremendous football player. But if Alex Forsythe, I would not hesitate if you had to start Alex Forsythe. We're going to win with Alex. You're going to win with Steven. You're going to win with Malasala. So those are the kind of guys that I'm talking about that are making that push to get there, you know.
Do you want to have a decided starter there as far as the 5, though, Alex? Or could you foresee, without giving too much away here, where you could go, you could alternate between them based on strategy, where you want to either pass block or run block? Or
you know what? Those guys, that first of all, the synergy in that group, nothing will come between them. They do not allow the competition to come between the brotherhood that whole group has. So from that standpoint, it's really easy to do that. You know, so I don't think that's difficult at all. You know, so you know, I do know this. Them 6 dudes are going to play. Those 6 guys will play just because they've earned the right to play here. They've earned that right to play here, and so you know, and it doesn't mess up the continuity of the group. You know, you do it in practice. It's not like you're just going to do it in the game. We do it on a daily basis in practice, so it becomes routine when it comes to the game.
Where's that synergy come from?
You know what? First of all, the character of them as human beings. I mean, yeah, everybody talks about their football stuff, but they're good human beings. That whole group, they're good human beings that were raised properly at home, were raised properly when they got here, were raised properly when Coach Cristobal took over, you know, and they're just great people. They're graduated already, so they're smart. You know, they're smart, they're caring, they're brought right. I mean, they're just character kids, you know. They're character kids that, you know, Aiello and Warmack and Throckmorton and Hansen and Lemieux, those guys, I mean, you know, those guys, and they when Warmack came here, the way that they embraced him, you know, they didn't feel him as an outsider. They felt that he was a brother that was coming in to play, and they openly embraced him. It's just the way they are as people. And you got to know that when you're recruiting. You got to know you're recruiting the right guys that are not going to see these guys as threats, okay? And that's a big thing with Coach Cristobal. These guys aren't threats. These guys are here to compete, to make the room stronger. And those guys are, you know, great about it. You know, it's not, and that's pretty much, I think you take any offensive line in America, and that's the way it is. I mean, that's the way it is. It ain't wide receiver room. It ain't the DB room. It ain't the running back room. All right, you have to be a selfless individual to want to play O-line. If you're selfish, you're not playing O-line. Not in high school, not in college, not in the NFL. So that's the first thing. When you choose, hey, I want to be an O-lineman, right? There's a selflessness to that. So I think that comes with the territory as well.
You mentioned recruiting, Alex. One
Yes.
recruiting question. I know you can't talk about specific
Yeah,
players,
no
but
doubt.
you targeted 5. You've got 5. Do you feel like, well, first, how do you feel in general about that group?
Yeah.
And second, is there a center because that was such a high priority in that group of 5?
You know what? We you know, again, I don't want to get myself in trouble here, right? But the kids that have committed to us, you know, they're a lot like these guys here, you know, that we have here, and they're guys that we feel have the ability to help continue the tradition of the great offensive line play that has been here way before I got here, way before Coach Cristobal got here, and just continue to add to it. Yeah, we do feel we have guys in that group. We feel we have other guys here that can snap the football, right? That's important, you know, and it's not necessarily you have to go find, because Hansen played left tackle. Hansen was a left tackle in high school, and he's played center here. So you don't have to find a guy that's played center to become a center. You know what I'm saying? So we feel we've found guys that can do that, you know, and so we feel good about it. But we just, you know, like Coach said, recruiting is a lifeblood. You got to recruit them every day. You got to recruit the parents every day, and it's a marathon. So you just got to keep running it.
What would be a successful scrimmage on Saturday for your position group?
For us, heck, that they all come out healthy, you know, you know, that and just that we establish the run and we keep, you know, protect 10. And, you know, to me, it's more To me, I don't worry. We don't worry about the scoreboard. To me, it's more about, are we executing? If they bring a stunt, are we passing the stunt off? Are we making the right calls? To me, there's more to that. It could be. It could be Herbert throws the ball, a guy overthrows a guy, or the guy drops it, or what have you, and it's a bad play for everything else, and it's a work of art for us up front. It could be a work of art for us up front in the run game, and the running back took a wrong read, but it's a work of art. So that's what we get lost in. That's what I get lost in, at least, in my opinion, and that's the way we are on game day. So it's just the execution, right? The execution, the communication. That would be the things that I would look for in the scrimmage.